everyone. I'm Ritika, the lead for Project Shia, and we'll be giving you an update of the Next Generation Civilization Kit, how far we've come in the past year, and are moving in from the ideation stage of Iteration 1 to prototyping and the current community and outreach events we're currently organizing. With me today is Kritika,
Hello.
my teammate and the ESD researcher at Ecolabs NTU, who will be introducing a new holistic approach to unit and community design through the International Parametric Competition, and Irasiad
Hi.
from YSI Southeast Asia to share the community activities till date. A couple of interesting startups that our community stores. Just a quick reminder, Kritika will be sharing her screen today. So please double click to maximize her window for a better viewing experience. Yeah. Okay. So the team was looking at how can we create a sharing platform to engage technical and non-technical skill sets of the youth. To design and prototype sustainable off-grid modular kit comprising of innovative building solutions in terms of water, energy, and shelter to enable communities to deploy the next generation civilization kit. The notion of is it possible for an individual to be empowered to build and organically form a community with like-minded people. To execute this project in terms of technical collaborations, we worked closely with educational institutes to integrate our challenge statements and in terms of modular solutions for water and energy into project-based learning for engineering, design, and sustainability disciplines. In terms of community building, the youth interested in the environment, technology, or related disciplines join us to make learning fun through scouting technology solutions, outreach to encouraging like minded individuals to visualize and empower their future cities. So, till date, thank you, Kritika. So, till date, we've engaged about 200 students through collaborations with youth organizations, workshops, and universities to envision their future city. So, coming up summarizes our journey to create the first iteration. for listening in. Over to you, Kritika, to explain more about our current technical initiatives for ideating about iteration to the next generation civilization kit.
Thanks, Ritika. Now I will be telling more about Civilization Kit 2.0. The positive and the well-received responses from our student design competitions and engagement led us and motivated us to get back to them, asking them to design their community this time. Next Generation Civilization Kit 2.0 is the design of self-sustaining sharing communities. So we have launched a parametric design competition with the aim to challenge the pre-existing perception of designers by calling them to explore on innovative concepts and sustainable technology. The focus of the competition is to adapt a kaleidoscopic parameter-based approach to conceptualize and design a sharing community for a better future. The challenge will be to design a prototype of a self-sufficient dwelling unit with the potential to expand into modular communities where individuals can live, work, play, and exchange ideas. We believe in adopting an integrated systems approach using efficient cutting-edge technologies, thereby challenging the existing ideas and technology. The site can be anywhere in Southeast Asia. The site area of 3,000 square meter was considered as it would be the starting point for a community to raise and flourish in the future. The dwelling to community scale shall be designed by thinking beyond the current standards for sustainability. The unit scale should address to reduce the energy and the water needs per day per person. So let's understand more about the shelter. The smallest dwelling unit will be 25 square meter per person and should cater to individuals' needs like rest, cook, bath, and work while maintaining the indoor thermal comfort in the range of 24 to 28 degrees Celsius. We are looking at the unit being structurally feasible, flexible, easy to assemble, and flat pack. In terms of energy, we are looking into harnessing from renewable sources and reducing the current energy consumption pattern by 50 to 70%. Water, 70 liters per day per person, or 30 to 50% reduction from the current consumption pattern. We're also looking at different rainwater catchment treatments and black water treatment systems. The unit to community scale will follow a parametric based approach. These parameters will identified are the basic need for a community growth and would be considered for design development simulation, which will help to demonstrate the optimized design solution for footprint, energy, and other parameters. So let's have a quick look at the parameters. Daylighting, maximize natural light and minimize artificial lighting. Solar potential, scope of harnessing solar energy. Wind, maximizing natural ventilation and minimizing the dependency on air conditioning. Energy, calculate the energy consumption and reduction of energy per dwelling unit. Green space, open green space in terms of parks and gardens for an inclusive community. Blue space, rainwater harvesting and reduction of urban heat island. Road network and footprint, shortest distance traveled by a person and reduced building footprint area on a piece of land. Farming, type of farming considered for production of food within the community and the energy and the water requirements for it. Resilience, space for emergency situation and ease for construction of dwelling units. So it's time to redesign our future. Let's be the change maker and perceive the environment in an alternative way, looking at a best compromised and optimized solution. So if you're interested, do join the competition by registering on projectshare.com to redesign the future communities. Over to you, Irisia, to elaborate more on the YSI engagements.
Thank you, Kritika. So now I'll be sharing more about some community updates. And just to give you guys a little bit of a context, like what is this YSI Southeast Asia? So YSI Southeast Asia actually came in as a partner for Project Shea back in March of 2020. And honestly, we're very excited about the prospect of bringing youth from all walks of life to come together to co-create the next generation civilization kit. So how do we do this? First, we started by bringing youth from all over the world into an online community and gave an introduction into what Project Shea stands for, as well as the end goal of creating a physical space that embodies sustainable principles in a community setting. So after that, the next few months were focused on understanding the community a little bit better. So what we did was we collected insights of their living preferences, as well as introducing specific ways that they could contribute to the project. We then looked into continuing the insights collection process of what the community valued. We also looked at alternative ways of engagement to get people on board. And what we ended up with was a collaboration with 2 artists and musicians. And the collective wisdom from the community, coupled with the artistic vision of the artist and musician, actually came together to form an immersive audiovisual experience. And finally, we work closely with community members, which resulted in knowledge output and potential startups. And we are continuing to work with the community to contribute in whatever way they are able to. So that kind of begs the question, what do we mean by community output exactly? So we actually started community engagement by first getting community input about what they prioritized in a living space. And it was very clear that the community values were actually in alignment with Project Shia's early focus areas. So from there, they can actually contribute in one of 2 ways. So the first way is that if they are an individual that isn't currently working on a project or a startup, we invited them to contribute to our collective understanding of the technology required for Project Shia to become reality. This generally involves community members indicating the broad area which they are interested in, having a discussion to narrow down the topic, and working to identify existing technologies to achieve energy, water, or shelter provision. They would be looking out for what solutions exist and what technological level they are at right now. However, if the community member was already working on a project or startup, we also invited them to be part of the community. We interacted with the founders to have a more in-depth understanding of their work, and we are currently working on determining how best to integrate their solutions into Project Shia. So one such solution can be found in the form of Light of Hope Philippines. So let's watch a short presentation from their startup.
Light of Hope, impact startup that is focused on improving the lives of the underserved off-the-grid communities through the use of clean renewable energy technologies. We started with the solar night lamps in the bottles. Through an amazing list of supporters, it has allowed us to reach many communities in the Philippines. 1,400 plus households has now access to light. $146 savings achieved per household per year. 2,800 plus PET plastic bottles has been repurposed and has been diverted from the landfills. And we also help reduce CO2 emissions of up to 80,000 kilograms. Our vision is from light to energy and livelihood. We wanted to empower families to generate new income per month through the cloud grid system. It is a solar power generator set with the Wi-Fi connectivity. It will enable families to have 2 new sources of income. First is to resell energy by charging mobile phones. Second is to resell the internet connectivity through the Wi-Fi.
And one other example we have is Solitaire from Singapore.
Hi everyone, I'm Abhi. Natalia and I are working on Solitaire. We were brought together by our passion for creating change using our technical skills. Between us, we have a master's and a PhD in engineering. I specialize in green technology and have worked on various tech solutions in Singapore and in the UK. Natalia has over 10 years of experience in sensors and urban planning and has founded companies that specialize in air distribution systems in different parts of the world. Today, I'm here to talk to you about space cooling. The air conditioner was invented over 100 years ago, but the design pretty much hasn't changed. You might say, is it really necessary to reinvent the wheel? That's where we beg to differ. The air conditioner is more harmful than you would think. First, it's a huge contributor to the increasing demand for energy in buildings, both globally and in Southeast Asia. Also, cooling is actually heating up our world due to carbon emissions, especially in densely populated areas such as cities. At Solitaire, we want to do things differently. That's why we are building a completely solar powered, intelligent energy system for sustainable cooling that saves energy, reduces costs, and provides eco cooling. We are able to do this with our innovative design using flexible solar panels that act as foldable blinds that can be installed in any window.
So those are examples of some startups within our ecosystem. So now I'll be handing the time back to Ritika to close off our sharing. Ritika, please.
Thanks, Erisyal. So in-house, we were brainstorming how can we engage a larger community to define how their single unit or their self-sufficient unit would be and how that can grow into the respective needs of a community. That's when we launched the Visualizing Challenge. I'll drop the link down below. So that is where participants have the opportunity to actually visualize their future cities with various um, visualizing gaming platforms. So if you're interested or know anyone who's playing Minecraft, Blockwood, or Block 3D, the link for the competition is below, and let's all empower our own selves to visualize a better future. Thank you for your attention. Feel free to start the conversation with us. You can just request for access and then we can have a session. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, this is a great chance to see the holistic view of the latest update. So thanks so much. Yeah. So I know actually piece by piece, but
Yeah.
it's a great to see the whole picture. Yeah.
So we are looking at a couple of startups. So we thought we will phase it in and then, I'm sure, I'm not sure if Bobby is here, but we were looking at meeting with him and then showing his short video as well in the near.
I see.
Yeah.
So that the first video you showed us, that's actually first iteration of, building the prototype,
Yes.
right?
Yes, the project share.
Wow.
So we're in the phase where we're getting authority submissions in line.
Yeah, that part is a realistic part. Yeah, we can create the idea, but of course,
execution sometimes is the challenge.
And the point is, becoming real. Okay, I need to go through all, approval and regulatory clearance, and I see. Yeah.
So that's where we're at, but we're now starting with Kritika's competition. Kritika, maybe you can pull up the link for the participate page. With that, we are looking at can we create a universal framework with a couple of parameters that people can actually, it's a little more technical in a sense, but create their challenges and what are the priorities they would think in their future homes.
Is that more like a simulation tool, or so change the parameters and see the impact of the, energy consumption and things like that?
Yes. So we just went back into looking at what a basic community would require, not just an individual unit, multiple individual units. So that's when we came about with the 9 parameters, which will be more important to tackle. We're going to play around the 9 parameters to see how best it can be a self-sustaining sharing community.
I see.
So that's more like simulation and design, both will be there. We are also looking at tapping at biomimicry into it. Biomimicry will be a concept to come up with a form for this parametric. So we've got the registration open on our website. So all that we have to do is to go click register now, and then it takes us directly into the registration page.
I see. So one side is a physical installation, and the other side simulation basic evaluation. And then
Yes.
how do you merge those two results together?
Okay.
We are
So
hoping that you will do a CD of us and then put with photos, animate, and then hopefully we can use that to maybe stimulate how we can live in this space.
Oh, I see.
later we would maybe take our simulated iteration and given human inputs, direct inputs, or make it like a slider system where a person says, "Hey, I want this," and then see the change come out.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Kritika, maybe I can go to the challenge. I think it's the challenge.
Yeah, I'm just here. So this is the main challenge, and these are the parameters that we are looking at tackling and getting the unit going from one unit to multiple units and see how self-sufficient and sharing the community could be.
So, Mary has a question. Is parametric design a lot more targeted to architecture students?
So it's open to any coders because a lot of parametric software use C++, C script, and Python programming language. So anybody who's into coding also can do their coding and feed it into any visualizing softwares. Yeah, it's not specifically targeted to architects. You're welcome to join if you're
Yeah, I
wanting
don't
to
think
do
I
some.
have the skill set to do it myself.
I see.
Christian,
And then
would you like to share some of the other startups that we looked at?
Yeah, so we have a few so the two startups that we actually put front and center are more on the energy side. We have I think you're familiar with Circular Blueprint that's looking at the like the shelter side, and then we have a bunch of agriculture startups that are working both with water and food. So there's so one startup that we're looking at to involve single moms to actually work as a decentralized kitchen sort of concept. So that's one. And we also have this other startups that's working on vertical farming as well. So a bunch of stuff that's quite interesting. We're still trying to piece together how it would look like within Project Shia as a collective, but it's quite promising on some of these early these early startups that are gaining interest.
Sure. Bobby, do you want to and ask us your question?
Yeah, come join.
Any homes? Bobby asked the question in the.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think I live in so I would love to live in a tiny home. I think it's a lot easier to maintain. As long as I can live comfortably. What about you? And then we go to Kritika and Alicia.
Yeah, tiny homes are really a good option. And I think it also solves the problem of everybody having their own space to live in and reducing the footprint in large chunks. That's how I see it. And towards the end, it'll also look into the carbon aspect of it. Yeah, should be a great future.
Atsushi, what do you think?
Yeah.
In Japan, actually, most of the houses are tiny homes. Anyway, but joke aside, actually, people are enjoying tiny mobile house as well. So if it is a mobile, right, you can enjoy the different places, right? Because the maybe footprint of the living space is small, but it is placed in the beautiful, nature ground. In that case, could not feel any sort of a tininess. Rather, it's a depend on the environment around the home, right? If it's a tiny home is packed together, like maybe Hong Kong, it's quite it's like depressing, right? But if it's a place in the beautiful nature, then no problem because you can enjoy outside more, right? So I think tiny home could be very interesting in combination with the mobility of the house, or maybe not every day, but maybe every 3 months we can change the place, here and there. Summer maybe near the sea, and then winter maybe some warm place, or maybe some mountain side to enjoy skiing. So it could be very interesting, right? Because then we can work from home anyway, so we can change the place of living, but still working online. Then maybe no problem, right? Yeah.
That's true. Actually, I don't know how many of us can actually afford our homes. So just taking into account how many of us can afford our homes without being in debt or taking a loan, I think tiny homes are a great option.
Yeah. That does make sense because paying a lot of money for the land itself, right? Not
Yes.
exactly house, right? So
Yes.
that's why I sometimes I'm amazed, went back to my village or country. I came from a village of one of the village of the Japan, and of course the land is almost free. That's why it looks like so great. Wow, it's a very big house, and how much is it? Actually, wow, not so expensive, right?
Yeah.
Because a building house itself is not expensive, but most of part is paying for the rent. That's why we need to figure out how to decrease the rent cost, because people are not living forever, right? It's a certain period of time. So in that case, we don't need to own exactly. Maybe just get some share, for my lifetime only. Then maybe cost of the housing will be much lower. Yeah. And also we can move around the module or house itself. Then it's very easy. Okay, 30 years I'm here, but afterwards the house will be moved out, right? Then that also may be one option. Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Does my mic work?
yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting factoid that Taira-san kind of shared about land being really, really cheap in Japan. I was thinking that one of the enabling factors for tiny homes moving forward is actually to use a lot of land that's currently not available, not just in Japan but all around the world. Maybe not as relevant in Singapore right now because we're still very, very much the HDB system is still something that is still front and center. But I think once more land starts to be unlocked, and if there are ways for us to work, kind of maybe travel cross border and stuff like that, I think those are some solutions that will come out in the future, not just on a technological level, but on a policy level to enable tiny homes, I think. And we see more migration of people going elsewhere as well.
And also, we don't need to have even in Singapore, need to have a huge central district anymore, right? Maybe at least a half. If government say 50% only, right? So in that case, why we need 100%, right? So in that sense, central district could be much more maybe lower rising and also distributed. And then maybe it's important to have something satellite office, maybe outside, suburban part of the Singapore even. And then it's more like it could be more like equalized, right? It's at this moment central district is very high, and then some part is not so. So I think that also, even in Singapore, I think we can do that. Yeah, that's my sense.
Yeah. Well, I hope Bobby we answered your question.
Yeah, and one more thing is the ease of construction. The construction time becomes really less.
Yeah.
So that's also going to help. It's not a long waiting time to see your house come and take into shape. It's going to be much faster, and more people then will opt to go in for such solutions.
Yeah. So one argument that we had was, one side, try to build the house or building very strong, like a lasting 100 years. That's one side. The other side is no need to last so long. 30 years is okay. Some more lighter or flexible, but no rusting for long. So I think it's a kind of quite just left and right. There's very wide spectrum. But what do you think? It's a resilience or strength of the structure? That was a big factor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kritika actually was doing some research on the carbon impact of it. So maybe we
Yeah.
can share some of that the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Concrete is
Yeah.
actually a big part of the carbon footprint, right?
Carbon cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not friendly for environment, for example. So in that case, better to, even in Singapore, humid, but we can have some wood maybe made with sort of some technology like coating, and then it could be resilient towards humidity and also heat, for example. Yeah.
Bobby, do you want to share more about the material that your startup is working on? It sounds so cryptic that we're waiting for a message.
It's good. That's a
Yeah.
hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I like to involve more young people's opinion in the future, because they may think different way, like oh, tiny home, no problem, or but I want to have something like that, or I think in the future we can involve maybe teenagers in the session. Even.
Yeah, I think now it's semester time, so that's why I
Oh,
think this session was.
yeah, not this time, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think let's have this conversation as maybe the next time where we get more youngsters to even start that conversation. Do they even think that they can afford their house if unless they are inheriting their house in a sense from their parents?
Yeah.
And that will really, I think mobile homes is a brilliant solution. But I think you would need a little bit of infrastructure to maybe plug into the grid if possible, or can we create? I'm sure Sampo works on that.
Yeah, they that's a Japanese startup, and then they are also developing some sort of a house core, which is base station, and also
Yeah.
mobile core. So in
Okay.
combination, enjoying some freedom of moving around, but also sometimes they want to back to the kind of big living room, and also enjoy some party with other people. Then need some big space, and then there's a house core. It's like a
Yeah.
shared big living room and also kitchen, and then come back to the base station and then enjoy. It's a of course a different type of the lifestyle, but back and forth, right? That's
When you say base station, it reminds me as if they're going out of space or something.
yeah, something like
Yeah.
similar, but in the future it could happen in the space as well, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Bobby said transforming plastic waste to create
Create building.
Oh, that's nice.
How are you doing that, Bobby?
So should I give the
Like
answer,
Bobby,
because it'll take him a little bit of time, because I'm
yeah, I think go ahead.
I'm also a little bit familiar with the work that Bobby does. And Bobby, if I represent the company wrong, just tell me in the chat. But the general idea is that he's using plastic waste as an aggregator for the bricks. Oh my god,
Oh,
Bobby
nice.
is
Hey.
here.
Oh my god.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Oh my god. Okay. So I've been trying to get it on. Yeah. So we just use those kind of plastic waste. We tend to work with some kind of informal waste collectors, and then they collect the plastic waste for us. Then we do the necessary processing of it. Then we mix everything together with other materials, and then that's how we turn it into a brick. Yeah.
I see.
And yeah, one funny thing that we realize is actually this kind of bricks, right? It can actually it can be better than conventional bricks in terms of strength, or even in terms of a lot of other material, like in terms of like cooling.
Oh,
And
really?
those kind of things. It's pretty more. It's like more energy efficient in a way.
Wow. Yeah, it's like a composite material. So it's combining different materials and then create a more higher function, and in the end.
Yeah.
But in that case, you need
Where
to
are
have.
you producing your bricks? Where are you producing your bricks? Or it's still in the research phase of it?
We're still in the research phase. So
Okay.
right now we have a team in Philippines that's a lot more focused on the R&D basically.
Okay.
So are you sort of developing some sort of formula? What kind of formula could be good for this kind of situation, or more stronger, or maybe energy efficient? So you're working on some sort of mix of the different materials, or kind of formula you're working on it?
Yeah, for different use cases.
That's nice. Wow. So it's kind of upcycle, right? Because some sort of a recycled material and becoming more higher value, right? Because if it is used for as a building materials or building house material, obviously value is totally different, right? Just a waste versus much building blocks. It's kind of upcycle, right? In some sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Today we
How
had
did you come about this idea?
Sorry?
Oh.
What was the inspiration for your idea?
What was the inspiration? I think it's really when I saw this old lady that she was pushing this trolley, right? Where she's basically just pushing a trolley of like about 5 to 10 kg of cardboard boxes, and and then I just went over to help her, and along the way I just struck up a conversation with her and I asked her like, "Hey, auntie, how much can you actually sell all this for?" Then that's when she told me like, for a day, right, and then she goes around collecting cardboard boxes, she's only able to earn about $5, and that is her income for that one entire day. Then I asked her the next question, like, "Hey, auntie, why don't you collect plastic? Since there's so much plastic, like it's even more abundant than compared to cardboard boxes." Then she told me that plastics are simply worthless. Nobody wants it at all. Yeah, and that just struck a chord with me. Like, why would that be the case? Like, why can't we turn plastic waste into something? It can be a resources. To many others, it's trash, but we are able to turn it to resources as well. So how do we create that value? So that really got us to think about how to create that value. Yeah. So eventually we decide on coming out with building materials for it.
That's great. What's your background in?
Oh, I majored in mechanical and electrical. So it's something
Okay.
with mechatronics.
Yeah, okay.
Do you use some sort of simulation technology or something, to find out the best formula, or using some computer simulation for the R&D?
Yeah. So not yet at the moment. We are right now. So how should I explain? Okay, so right now we are just working with. We're also working with Singapore Polytechnic on this. So so we have one team in Philippines that's trying to run a different type of product per se. Then Singapore Polytechnic is also helping to test out another type of product along that line. So these two will run parallel, and once we are able to get to more, once we're able to get a better version of the recipe, right? That's when we'll move on to the computer simulation and all this, trying to break it down.
Yeah, that'd be great, because nobody's actually doing that, right? Because it's kind of complicated, because waste materials will be, I think, quite different, each cases. But if we have some sort of system to magically combining a different waste materials, but outcome is some sort of a consistency, right? So type A, type B, type C, and then input will be different, but a computer understand what is the best formula to create a type A or type B. And it could be more like, of course, the creating upcycling brick itself is great, but also if we have some sort of a platform or simulation system, it could be very much scalable. That would be maybe like if we make it open source, and then other countries people can learn from that. That also may be fascinating. Yeah. So that's why I thought, it could be interesting. Maybe at this moment, try and error, like manually. But as a next step, if we put in place some computer simulation or computer-based, design, platform idea, that would be quite interesting, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can look at green mark certification and then increase your sales as well.
Green mark
Yeah,
certification, yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Um,
Great.
yeah. Thank you very much. I think
Thanks for joining us.
we'll be moving for the after party as social.
Yeah, and
Space.
also maybe we're gonna set up this kind of a session separately,
Yeah.
to discuss with maybe other startups as well, and also
Of course.
young people as well. And then when it is convenient time, right? Let's do
Yes.
that. Okay.
Let's do that for sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Bobby, for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us. It was
Thank
lovely in the
you.
talk.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
everyone
Bye.
listening in.
Bye.
We'll be at Spatial.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.